Hi there guys, I'm Boden here today with the fabulous
Mr. Kidwell. Paul Kidwell.
Hi.
Hi.
Alright, so we've had a lot of people that want to know about the Geek Group's Fusor. We've got one, it's awesome, and we need to tell the world about it. So it's kind of weird, we can't really get a good shot of the whole thing in such a confined space, so there will be cutaways. So we've got this camera here that's just showing inside the chamber, and we've got the desk cam down there that's going to show the front panel, but overall you'll get it. We're there. So this was made by Mike Feldman.
Yes.
God, when? 2005 or so?
I think it was earlier than that, actually.
It's been a while. We've had it for a long time. So thank you, Mr. Feldman.
Yes.
Dr.
Feldman.
Yes. Not that kind of doctor.
No.
So, how's it work, Paul?
All right. What this is a demonstration of inertial electrostatic confinement. What we're doing is we are creating some ions inside this vacuum chamber, and we're going to use an electrostatic field to confine the ions into the middle.
Okay.
Now, you say the words electrostatic field and nobody knows what you're talking about. It's not something that normal...
It's what the grids do.
Yeah, it's not something that normal people would deal with. It's not something that's in your normal field of experience.
Thankfully, we're not normal people.
This is true. What people are accustomed to is a gravitational field. We're standing in one now.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm rather fond of it. It keeps the chairs on the
something in the air and it comes back down again.
Okay.
All right. So
I remember a dude and an apple.
you remember Dude and Apple?
Yeah.
Okay. What the idea is we want to take ions and slam them into each other with some energy. And in a gravitational field, all you have to do is drop something and it heads straight down. So to visualize what we're trying to do here in the chamber, think about drilling a hole all the way through the earth. Normally,
if come out somewhere in like the Indian Ocean.
Yes. Well, if you kids
from
think,
here.
From here. Kids think if you dig down, you go to China, but no, it's anywhere in the United States, you wind up in the Indian Ocean if you go straight through the middle.
Over by Australia somewhere.
Somewhere, yes.
Yeah.
If you want to make it to China, you got to start in Brazil.
Oh.
So,
okay.
But if you think of drilling a hole all the way through, and ignore the fact that there'd be pressure and all kinds of nastiness that's
No, you hire BP. They know all about that stuff.
True, yes. Anyhow, you drill a hole all the way through, and then you take a penny, say, and you drop it down the hole.
Okay.
It'll accelerate all the way down to the center of the earth. And it reaches it'll sail right on through, and then as it's coming up the other side, it'll decelerate until it comes up to about the same altitude as where you dropped it from, but on the other side.
Okay.
And then gravity will pull it back, and you wind up with this coin going back and forth down the tube.
Yeah, it'd be a penny pendulum.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, now if you on the other end dropped the penny at the same time I did, when they reach the center, they'd go sailing past each other.
Okay.
If you're really lucky, they'd slam into each other with a heck of a lot of force.
Penny fusion?
Penny fusion.
And that's where nickels come from.
That's where nickels, yes. But the odds of the two pennies hitting each other are kind of slim. I mean, you got the cross-sectional area
how big your hole is
and the size of a penny. So rather than throwing one in, say you took a handful of them, just dump.
Okay.
And I did the same thing at the same time.
Way more fun.
You'd have a whole cloud of pennies come slamming in and they'd hit each other.
Okay.
All right, so we're using gravity to send these pennies in towards each other.
Two giant, like $50 worth of pennies.
Big cloud.
Okay.
Going through. All right. The problem is they're not all going to hit each other straight on. Some of them will glance and they'll kind of do that sort of thing.
Okay.
Then they hit the sidewalls of your tube and slow down, and you wind up with a big blob of pennies in the middle, and that doesn't work for us. You can still drop pennies in and they'll hit, but they won't be coming at each other. There won't be as much energy as if they were coming at each other directly.
Okay.
So our little well idea doesn't work all that well because you have sides to it.
Okay.
What we're doing here is kind of the same thing. We've arranged something so that the forces pull the ions into the middle, but we don't have to worry about having a tube to run them through.
Because this is done in a sphere. It's
done in
everything
a sphere.
To the middle.
Correct.
Okay.
Now, we have a high voltage transformer down here with a diode, so we get DC voltage, a couple thousand volts. The outer globe here, you can see there's wires inside there.
Yeah, the grid.
And the grid, and let's see. These wires out here, if you can see my finger, those wires are the outer grid.
Okay.
These wires in here, the corkscrew in the middle, is the inner grid.
The helical coil.
Yes. It's basically like an old vacuum tube. You'd have grids inside a vacuum tube, and that's what these are.
Now, are we getting like thermionic emission here, like in a vacuum tube? Or?
No, we don't have a cathode. We're not heating up a cathode to emit anything. What we're doing is, when we turn the power on, the outer grid is positive and the inner grid is negative.
Okay.
So we are creating a plasma by putting high voltage into the vacuum here. So that's nucleuses with no, or nuclei with no electrons around them. They'll have a positive charge. The inner grid, the little helical corkscrew in there, has a negative charge. So the ions are attracted from all directions in towards the center.
Okay.
They're attracted with enough energies that they'll go sailing right past the wires, and they'll cross each other right in the middle there. That's the same idea as the pennies coming at each other.
Okay.
Now, what we're doing here, we're only putting a couple thousand volts in, so it becomes a question of probability and statistics. What's the probability that we're going to take some nitrogen nuclei and fuse them?
Now, where did the nitrogen come from?
That's what we're breathing in the air. It's high percentage of nitrogen.
Aren't we pumping all the air out of there? I mean, that's what all the noise is. We've got a vacuum pump going.
We are not creating a perfect vacuum. In fact, if you created a perfect vacuum, you wouldn't have an effect there because there'd be no ions to collide with each other. The ions are the nuclei of the atmosphere that's still in there. Go ahead, you can start turning our voltage up here. Right. We should have pumped down enough.
Yeah, yeah, we've been pumping down for quite a while. Actually, we should turn the lights out. I don't know. Well, we'll see if we can see it with the lights out. Bringing the voltage up a little.
And you can go a lot more than that.
Turned it on. Is the high voltage switch on?
Yes it is. The light's not on.
The light's not on?
There it's on.
Ah, okay. Oh, that's much better.
There we have a glow.
Hey, you can't really see it with all the lights. We're going to kill some of the studio lights.
Turn it up a little bit first.
Okay.
Let me show you something. I'm going to move this.
It's weird from the back, isn't it?
Yes. All right, no, we're going to need some lights off because we just have a very pale purple glow there.
Yeah. All right, give me a second, I'll turn out some lights.
Boom, boom, boom. I think it's the front lights that need to go. Okay, there we go.
Can we see it? That's
yes,
better.
You can. I think you might want to kill that one too.
I'm going to turn the monitor off.
All right.
Okay, now we can see it much better.
Now,
any more lights and they're not going to see us.
This is true. All right. Anyhow, we have our ions sailing towards each other in the middle. Ah, that's better. There's a nice glow for you. Now, there's a probability that you're going to get fusion occurring. It's a fairly low probability because we're not putting a lot of energy into this system. If we put a higher voltage in, the ions would be traveling at a faster speed when they hit each other, and you'd have an increased probability of getting fusion occurring. We don't really want that happening because there's no shielding on this. I mean, we're standing right around here.
So we're not getting any fast neutron emission.
We're not irradiating ourselves here. The guys that are doing this for real have gotten over 1 billion neutron productions a second. Some of them claim up to 1 trillion per second. That's serious neutron production.
Wrong.
That's like roast the children sort of thing. I mean, you're going to be causing genetic damage doing something like that. So we don't want to do that. We're just doing this here. It's at a low voltage. There are probably some fusions occurring, but it would be very rare, and it's not anything that's dangerous to us.
Because it's such small amounts.
Yes. Another thing, the guys that are doing this seriously is they have a much better vacuum system, so they're pumping it down much farther than what we are, and then they backfill the chamber with deuterium. heavy hydrogen rather than nitrogen. And that's where you get your fusion reactions occurring. You can get a fusion reaction out of deuterium at a much lower energy than you could with nitrogen. The nuclei are smaller.
Yeah,
There's less energy
smaller,
required
lighter.
to get the reaction to go.
Okay.
So, let's see.
But this is
Now,
a star,
this is
basically.
basically
A very
yes.
tiny, very low power star in a jar.
This was originally, the person who first came up with this concept was Mr. Philo T. Farnsworth. He's the
There's a
same.
name you know.
Oh, yes. He's the guy that came up with television.
Yeah.
Yes, back in the 1930s. He did his work on fusors in the 50s and 60s. He had an assistant that came in named Mr. Hirsch. And prior to Mr. Hirsch, Farnsworth's fusor had electron guns like what you'd have at the back end of your television set that would fire ions in. Hirsch is the one that came up with the two-grid arrangement where you got two spherical grids. All right, and in actuality, the fusor we have here is more a Hirsch-Meeks fusor. Mr. Meeks came in a little later and improved on the design and whatnot, so it's been an ongoing process over decades worth of time. The most recent person who was working on this was a gentleman named Bussard, the guy who came up with the
Bussard ramjet?
The Bussard ramjet, yes. Okay. That's the guy who was trying to get this to actually produce electrical power.
He had a company with these.
Yes, he
like
did.
I saw a Google talk that he did that was like 2 hours long, and it's
Yes, he did.
a whole, like big ones, like meter-sized chambers.
Well, their thought was there was no point in making smaller demonstration ones because they had the physics all worked out. They knew it would work. So they were aiming at building a full-size, let's generate power fusion reactor.
Yeah, he was
sort of
talking
thing.
about competing with things like the tokamak and stuff like that.
Yes, there's one slight problem. He kind of died in 2007.
So what about the rest of the people? Like he had a whole company. Nobody's picking up this research?
There is a company, there is a foundation. They're still working on continuing the work. I haven't heard anything in a little while from them.
Okay.
So.
Well, that sucks. We should talk
Yes,
to
it
them.
is. I think we should.
How long will this stay stable if we turn the pump off?
I don't know. Well, what we have
It
here
depends
is
on how much leakage there is in the system.
we'll close the valve.
Okay.
And then I'll turn the pump off.
It's much quieter now without all the noise.
Much quieter, yes. And it'll sit there and glow. Air is slowly going to leak. This valve isn't perfect.
Oh no, and the hose.
Yes,
I mean, this is
you're
pretty
going to
basic
get
stuff.
you're going to get air seeping back in over time, and what will happen is it'll start arcing right at the base, and it's at that point we have to start turning the power down, or it'll burn itself up.
Okay. So that's the hard. There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah. Turn the power down a little. It'll still glow for quite a while, actually, but you're still dying there.
Yeah,
aren't you?
it's getting better.
Mm-hmm.
The radiation is curing me.
Ah, I see.
That and I can shoot this spider web type stuff now. It's really cool. The whole radiation.
You swinging from buildings yet, or have you learned how to do that?
I'm starting small. I got a swing set in the backyard. It works.
Yeah, I saw a guy doing that once, and his first couple of tries, he really slammed into buildings, and it was nasty.
All right, it's getting dead. I'm gonna turn it off.
Okay.
All right, you guys have fun, and that's pretty much the fusor, I'm guessing. I mean, is there anything else to cover? There's a lot of science to it. We can put that in the show notes. This can get amazingly complicated.
Yes.
Here, we'll move this out so that people can see it now.
I'm going to unplug the power, and we can actually turn it around and show them what the backside looks like.
You want to see the back?
Yeah,
we
sure.
can show the back. All right, we got unplugged.
Use the adventure cam. I mean,
It's your gravity tape.
My
You need
gravity,
that.
yes.
All right.
It's for demonstrating gravitational fields.
Here, we'll show them in the back.
Okay.
All right, what do we got?
Now, the gauging on the front is not functional right now. We're working on replacing the whole front panel with nice brand new gauging.
Okay.
This up here is the vacuum sensor. I've already replaced that. There's a little socket here. This here I've got a replacement.
For years, I didn't know that came off.
This here I have a replacement for, and I have the actual meter that goes with this sensor.
Okay.
All right, so when we get that, we'll have a real good read on how many millitorr we're getting down to, or I'm not certain how far it goes down.
Now, what do we got in the back here?
But
because on top we've got a vacuum pump and a motor. Nobody cares.
All we have in the back here.
That's a microwave oven transformer.
That's a microwave oven transformer and a diode. So that's what gets us our DC.
And there really isn't a whole lot to it. I mean, there's some basic metering circuits.
But they're not even wired in right now.
Okay,
they're
and a simple DC power supply.
So AC power comes in, it gets split off. AC power comes in over here.
Okay.
It gets split off. It gets split off to run the motor, which is just 120 volt AC motor.
Yeah, that's really simple stuff. And then we go off to the high voltage DC power supply, which is a microwave oven transformer.
And a variac.
Cool.
On the input side of the.
So it's I mean, this is the kind of thing that people can build at home.
Oh yes, it's very simple. The hardest part is the vacuum chamber itself, right here.
And for anybody who's well versed in basic high voltage safety, because it's not like 40, 50,000 volts. It's like 4,000 volts.
If that, I think we're only doing about 2 with this.
And
it's only halfway.
It's a microwave oven transformer, so I mean, it's not current limited. They're ubiquitous.
You can find them on any street corner. I mean, on garbage day, there's going to be literally. And the only expensive part is the vacuum pump.
And those aren't that hard to find. I mean, you can get those on eBay. $20.
Exactly.
This is easily made by somebody at home with some very simple machine skills. You got to get a good glass cylinder, but that's not rocket science.
Glass cylinder, a couple of seals, a couple of plates, drill some holes. They use a spark plug on it. Can you get that? That's a.
Yeah, here. Well, can you get it close in? Here, I'll see. I'll get it down here.
I mean, a spark plug was used for the electrode to get on the inside.
Right in there. There's the spark plug for the high voltage.
Okay, the bell jar itself is one electrical contact.
Yeah, that's ground pretty much.
Well, actually, it's supposed to be, the outside is supposed to be positive and the inside is supposed to be negative.
Okay.
So in
this application, though, this is pretty much ground.
Well, it's a negative power supply then.
Yeah.
You ground the positive output on the power supply and you wind up with
negative 4,000. But this isn't floating at any high voltage.
No, this is tied to earth ground because you wouldn't want to touch and get blasted.
Yeah.
Which on this, there was a screw on the front here that used to be connected to the output of the microwave oven transformer.
Yeah, I remember it bit you once a while back.
On several occasions until I figured out exactly what was going on. That's when all the metering circuitry disappeared because that's what was tied in to the high voltage.
So thank you, Mr. Veldman, for blasting Paul a couple times.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
It was really fun because as you're turning it up, I mean, it was this screw right here.
Oh, so you brush a screw.
As you were turning it up, you would brush that screw and like, yee! So, yeah.
I never had that problem.
You never had? Well, you didn't touch the screw. Well, I would be standing like this and reaching. And
big hands.
I'd hit it with my little finger.
Big hands. I'm a delicate guy. See, I'm just right in here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyhow.
All right. So, is there anything else?
Well, as I said, I was going to replace this whole front plate. I got a new...
Yeah, we're doing a thing with the SR100. Like, it's all CNC.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I got a new variac to put in there.
Okay.
It's a 5 amp variac.
Yeah, it's not very big.
That one's small. That one's, I think, a 4 or 3. But I got a big one sitting on my bench at home that I could get measurements off of so we can machine the plate.
Okay.
And the other thing, let's turn this around again. Now, you work with high voltage, you get all paranoid about getting electrocuted and things like that, and you forget there's other things that can hurt you.
Like belts?
Like belts. This scares me more than anything electrical around this here, is this belt.
Yeah, I can only imagine why.
Yeah, no, it's this hand.
It's this hand?
That got all tore up.
Because you've never had experience with that kind of thing before.
Yes, but no, I'm going to replace this plate. It's going to come all the way up over here. It'll have a shield over the front.
Cool.
So you can't get your fingers in the belt.
You could do little cutouts and have like a fold-over thing?
No, I ain't going to do fold-over is difficult. It's going to have like inch standoffs. There'll be a hole for that shaft right there because it's not going to be that far out.
Okay.
But it's going to be oblong, so you loosen the motor.
So there's like a whole new phase to this. We can get videos on the overhaul. It'll be the Fusor overhaul.
If we can get the funding, I was going to silk screen the front too, so it looks professional.
Your donations are greatly appreciated.
Yes, they are.
So kick $1 or $2 or 10, and you can help fund the new Fusor thing. We'll even give you a credit on the project page. How cool is that?
Could we, if it was a corporation doing it, could we put their logo on it?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Donations are greatly appreciated. This is the kind of stuff we need funding for. Because, I mean, some of this stuff's really expensive. I mean, this thing is, believe it or not, like a $20 thing at Lowe's, if that. It's really cheap. It's the kind of stuff they use for hooking up heaters and gas ovens. The valve, Lowe's part, like $5-10. This thing, now you're getting into some money there, that vacuum gauge.
That one I got off of, I actually went to the manufacturer and ordered that direct. Yes.
The people who invented the klystron.
Really? I didn't know that.
They do a lot of stuff. It's actually a pair of brothers.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know
See,
that.
we did a whole lot on klystrons a while back, and I remember reading that Varian was a company that does klystrons.
Okay,
So
we should get a hold of them and ask them. Well, we already got.
I'd love to have Varian as a sponsor. So
Yeah, well, we got the sensor and we got the meter already, so it's not like they'd actually have to give us stuff. They could just give us cash.
Funding
Yes,
is
funding.
good.
Funding would be good. Yes.
Cash, liquor, women, jazz. It's all good.
It's all good.
All right. You guys have fun. I'm Chris.
And I'm Paul.
And we're with the Geek Group, the science guys, the cool people, the cool kids. That's us, the cool kids. You should go to www.thegeekgroup.org and become a member. If you're watching this video this long with, us, the Wonder Dorks down here hanging out, talking about nuclear fusion on a tabletop, you should probably be a member. You're one of us. If this is your idea of a fun time, come down to the forums, get involved. You can be building projects like this. We didn't build this, we're going to overhaul it and all that, but this is built by a really awesome guy in Oklahoma who's almost as scary looking as you are.
Really?
You ever see a picture of Mike?
Yeah, I have.
Biker dude.
Biker dude. Yeah.
But he's like Feynman. He's just a rock star physicist. Total biker dude. Like, he's got the beard. It's the kind of guy that, like, you wouldn't want near your daughter. Yeah,
Okay.
He's cool like that. I love Mike. He's great. So, hi, Mr. Veldman.
Yeah.
You guys have fun. I'm Chris. That's Paul. We'll see you next time. Donate, rate, comment, subscribe, and send us women, liquor, and jazz. We'll see you next time here at the Geek Group. Have fun.
Bye-bye.
This video was made possible by a grant from the Future Girl Foundation.
This video was made possible by thousands of private donations from members and viewers like you. Please visit thegeekgroup.org for more information on how you can donate and become a part of our dreams of Avalon. Thank you.